long-term prediction remains an unfulfilled goal of earthquake studies, so scientists are on the lookout for some kind of warning event. They call them precursors. For example, small earthquakes are common before a large one. But these foreshocks are hard to recognize, and this time there had been none. But something else had preceded this earthquake, called corralitos, only 3 miles from the epicenter. An experiment was underway that had nothing whatsoever to do with earthquakes. An antenna had been installed to monitor naturally occurring radio waves, part of a communications study for the Navy. Anthony Fraser Smith, a Stanford physicist, found...
I work in what you call steam generating plants. I have a degree, I have a license in what is known as thermodynamics. We are dealing with physics now.
That unusual low-frequency radio waves had preceded the earthquake.
Does anybody have any questions on that? Does everybody understand that?
Is that, would that be comparable to us just having regular conversation, sharing ideas?
No.
It's not the same?
No.
This is genetically
Right, it's comparable.
communicated?
That's correct. It's actually broadcasting. It's through the form of radio waves and TV waves. Okay? It's like, for example, in our case, that we have sisters and brothers here who are very culturally African. And so they dress that way, they play drums that way, they've done all these African things. And you ever ask them, have they ever been to the motherland? No. Anybody in their family taught them that? No. So it's like, well, how do you know how to tie your hair like this? And how do you know how to dress like that? And why do you know how to play the drum like that? And it is because from whatever tribe this person's descendants are, those that are still left in Africa that are doing that exact same thing automatically transmits that to that individual, and that individual intuitively does that. It is known as morphic, we'll just use the term morphic resonance. Morphic means body, resonance means to move or to vibrate.
He wondered whether the squeezing of the earth before the fault ruptured had produced them.
Here's an example. This is the copper wheel in the generating plant that produced the electricity in this room. It is spinning at only 90 revolutions per minute, but against this copper wheel there are carbon brushes, and this is what you see. The spinning of the copper wheel against the carbon brush creates a friction. That friction is called resonance. Resonance is electricity, not electrons. Resonance. The resonance produces the electrons, not before.
3 hours before the earthquake, the activity went up to a level where you don't normally see it at all. And then the earthquake struck, and then we lost electric power, and we didn't have any more measurements. We've been recording at this corralitos site for 2 years.
In order to repeat his experiment, he would need to locate his antenna near the site of another earthquake. He would have to predict an earthquake to test his experiment in earthquake prediction. To recognize patterns, geologists need to compare dozens of events.
So now, if electricity is produced by copper and carbon, the friction of copper and carbon, then where do we go in the human body and find the organ that produces electricity? We find that it's the brain. The brain is the center of motor. The nervous system is the conduit that carries the electricity to various points of the body to cause motion. Now, should we ask, what is the composition of the brain? No. It is made up of what? Carbon and copper. The pineal gland is carbon, and the cerebral cortex, copper. We not only find that in a human being, we find that in the eel in Brazil that produces electricity to kill his prey. And when you open the eel, all you find is copper and carbon. No melanin.
On this day, my birthday, my Earth Day, I got some Earth say. Oh, by the way, this happened today, okay?
Professor Korotkov's laboratory has developed an instrument that can determine the energetics of water. It works on the basis of the Kirlian effect. Everything that enters a strong electromagnetic field begins to emit light. The greater energy the object possesses, the brighter it shines.
It's basically saying that we already spring from the soil that has all the information you need. The seismograph machine that is checking the vibrations. There it is. They explained it all in physics form, in water form, in life form as we communicate with one another. All these things. The low frequency waves, play with that with the tinnitus sounds. Of course, you know, we talked about, we dealt with that, and every aspect of being a more than just what we see is there. All the morphs, the transformations that I've been dealing with, the coming full circle, the spinning in the head, the creation of energy, the electromagnetic, what we're made from, the rocks we sprang from, is all involved in that. And even to add in there the fortune teller, if it's radio frequency, look at that tuning that we're going to do, the tuning fork that we're going to use to vibrate all over the place, all over our bodies, thus all over the universe. The body and the earth is the same thing, isn't it? 3/4 water in my body. Okay, that I'm made of. 3/4 of the earth is what it's made of, water. So the water has to be involved to create the electricity there for it to flow. Okay, so look at that, is a total package deal there, man. We get everything in this situation here, and it explains it in a marvelous way, in every way. So I like to say, if you know what's coming, it cannot be the devil. Okay, then that means the earthquake people tell you about the storms, they must be the devil as well, because they're using machines from the soil that we make from the soil. You know, these machines come from the rocks and all of that to help predict the weather. But if a human being does it from knowing the soil that he sprung from, using that energy to manufacture the information that comes from air, earth, water, fire, gas, then he's called the devil. It's a very interesting live, L-I-V-E, situation to be in. And yet the spinning, rising to the top, all that is being shown there, the resonance of what movement is, the morphic part of it, our body, the earthly seismic fluctuations, all of that, we already know. That's who we are. That's why I could say that on December 22nd and 22 days later, that happened in the Eiffel Tower. I posted it. There you have it. We have that in us. So all the people that's calling people like this the devil and all of that, go read your book again, the spiritual book. We're in that book. We're in that book doing these same things, same task, enjoying it, loving it. Man, wow. Bam, look at that. That is wonderful. Okay, so every level is covered here.